I'm Sydney Wyatt from Honeywell Energy and Sustainability Solutions, and I'm here with Anant Maheshwari, President and CEO, Global Regions at Honeywell, to talk with us today about the global energy landscape and AI. Thank you, Anant, for being here with us.
Sydney, great to be here. Thank you.
Let's start off by just talking about the growing demand for energy and how you see that evolving as it relates to AI and technology, maybe in the next 10 years.
So, first of all, the energy industry has always been very intertwined with technology. It is actually an industry run by technologists. It's got a lot of engineers, it's got a lot of scientists working through all the transitions that we've seen in the energy industry. And there's a lot of technology around chemistry, but there's increasingly a lot of physics
Yes.
that is involved in working the technology transition for energy. And as we look at energy as a trifecta of the energy security, the energy economics, and the energy emissions.
Mhm.
I think technology has a role to play in a big way. And you asked about AI. I think we can talk a little more about that, but I think AI and energy are deeply symbiotic
Mhm.
in how it is used, how it is produced, and how it is demanded.
Absolutely, deeply symbiotic hits the nail on the head, and, when we think about kind of the different regions, so your role as president and CEO of global regions, from one region to the next, there can be a lot of nuances in the adoption and the commercialization, of these technologies, and as it relates to energy security, how are you approaching that?
So maybe I'll go back to that trifecta of the
Mhm.
energy security, the economics, and then the emissions. Every region on the planet has a different mix of the three. Because some of the regions are blessed with energy surplus,
Mhm.
and therefore for them, energy is an economic value generator. In many other parts of the planet, and especially in the developing parts of the planet, which are industrializing or growing rapidly,
Mhm.
many of them may not have an energy surplus. In fact, they may be energy deficit. And therefore, how each economy thinks about security is very, very different.
Absolutely.
And how, therefore, it lines that up in a changing world order where it's no longer a completely global world where things could flow freely. There are barriers to trade that one may have today, or there are even geopolitics involved because it is energy industry by nature is very long cycle. And therefore, you got to think about the future very, very deeply. So that's what determines a lot of the decisions. They are not generally only about the economics. Security is a very big part
Mhm.
of that decision making. And I've found that every country and every company has a perspective and a strategy on security, on the economics, and also on the emissions.
Absolutely, and it's different from one to the next, just like you said, some have a deficit in an area, some have a surplus, so finding that balance and that collaboration is definitely a key. You know, when we think about other ways to go about growth in the sector, you know, you've got new areas where it's starting out, and you've got others where there's a bigger focus on optimization and how we optimize the production and the utilization of energy. How are we using AI to augment that?
I guess AI is a capability and a tool that the energy industry is really adopting at a very, very fast pace.
Mhm.
And we recently ran this survey, which was interesting to get that first set of statistics on the survey that nearly 85% of executives in the in the energy industry are figuring out the uses of AI
Mhm.
in their business. The first use case generally is around cybersecurity at this point,
Mhm.
which is, when you think about it, quite obvious that yes, the security of these assets is very important. Cyber risk is clearly up there for almost every energy asset. And therefore, the executives are using the tool to manage that risk. I think it's also about how you produce, what's the throughput. So, thinking
Mhm.
about predictive maintenance, thinking about how you optimize your operations. AI is already making a very big play. And going forward, I think it'll also be about the workforce productivity, which
Yes.
is where I think AI will make a very, very big play in the energy industry because you don't have that many new engineers or even field personnel really jumping up to say, I want to do that job. Even if they want to, they're not trained for it for a
Mhm.
very, very long period of time. Therefore, you got to think through that whole process.
You really led perfectly into the next question. So it sounds like, a variety of ways it's being used from cybersecurity and improving throughput and workforce. Let's get a little bit more into that one because we've heard a lot of different folks talking about AI and plants and whether it's training and upskilling workers, whether in some cases it's taking more kind of an automation twist on things. How do you just see that landscape?
So maybe I'll use an example, and I've been on the shop floor in the early part of my life, and I remember some experiences there. And especially when you're very early on a shop, you're surrounded by these very critical machines that are complex. You are a little wary of not doing something that may cause a problem unnecessarily. And imagine you're somebody who's on the shop floor with just 2 years of total experience,
Yep.
and you're standing next to this complex machine, and it starts making a noise. It's vibrating in a
Uh-oh.
big way, and you're in this new industrial facility. In the past, the normal protocol would have been, hey, listen, try to shut it down, get an expert to come and see it, analyze what's the issue, fix it, and then move forward. That may mean it's a shutdown, it's loss of production, and it could be many other things that could potentially go wrong. Imagine the world today where you have an AI tool which is
Mhm.
available with the usage of so many people who've come and done the same role before you. And with their experience and the experience of many other machines in many other shop floors, you are able to just scan that noise or record that noise.
Yeah.
And the tool tells you, hey, listen, it's likely to be a bearing that's an issue. Don't worry, it can be fixed in the next maintenance stop that we have. Just report it and it'll work. I think
Wow.
fundamentally, it is about workforce productivity. It's about getting new people onto the workforce faster, making it easy for the growth that we want around the planet. So I generally find that example to be very useful to understand that AI can really help every human being to be a better version of themselves in the work that they do.